and welcome to my YouTube channel called aKnittersSoul. My name is Elo and I am coming to you from Oslo, Norway. As the name suggests, this channel is primarily about knitting. If that is something that is of interest to you, you're welcome to stay and tag along with me for an hour or so. And if you enjoy my content and my company, then feel free to hit the subscribe button. That would be really lovely. And then you'll also get a notification as soon as I upload a video. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas time, that the new year has been kind to you this far. And yeah, thank you for returning and still wanting to hang out with me, even though I've been missing in action for a little while. So yeah, I think what I'll do is that I'll share a little bit more about what I've been up to these weeks, month, since I recorded last at the end of this video, so that if you are only interested in the crafty bits, then it'll be easier for you to opt out when the blabber part kind of begins. So yeah, what I'm wearing today is my lunar scarf. Luna, I think is how you pronounce it. It's by Natasha Hornby. I absolutely love and adore this shawl. I think it's so pretty. So once she released the pattern, I just knew I needed to have this in my life, in my wardrobe. So yeah, I love this so much. I think it's so pretty. Let me just get it a little bit closer. I like the mosaic details, the kind of slip stitch kind of thing that's happening in some section here. And yeah, it's 3 colors. I think it's a pearl color of sorts, a white and a kind of a navy blue. It's knit out of Drops Fabel. I have all the information and like the yarn numbers at my Ravelry page, project page. So if you're interested in looking it up, then you're more than welcome to check it out. And also, if you are new to mosaic knitting or feel a little bit intimidated by it, then I just want to say don't be, because with mosaic knitting you never knit with 2 strands at a time. So it is easier than it might look at a first glance. If you've been maybe looking at a pattern for a longer time that you really like with mosaic detailing in it, and you kind of put it off because of that, then I would just say don't. Just give it a try, because it's easier than I think I would be so bold to say it's maybe easier than stranded knitting. Maybe. But yeah. Yeah, so absolutely love and adore this shawl. Absolutely give it a go if you like it. I believe to remember that the pattern was well written, and yeah, can recommend it absolutely. Of finished objects, there's quite a few. There's a lot of small accessories that I finished since last. It's not many big garments really. When I spoke to you last, I said I still had one more Christmas gift to be knitted to one of the girls, and I was talking about the J sweater. But I just never got started with it. It never kind of really, I don't know, I just didn't get started. I mean, I looked to it as a sort of a last resort, a quick project would be lovely, because I think it's a beautiful sweater and I'm still gonna make it at one point, but right there and then I just didn't feel inspired by it. So yeah, what happened is, like, I went to a knitting cafe in a town which is about an hour's drive from Oslo, called Spinnekroken, and it was such a lovely evening with lovely knitters who were working on different projects. And one of the ladies, she was wearing a really nice jumper sweater, and she was making another one of that sweater but in a different color, and I was like, I really like that. I would actually not mind making it. Sorry, I got some fluff here. So yeah, that was, oh, I'm not really prepared. This is really not well done. So yeah, she was making a jumper by Kristin Viola Ødegård, which is called Myk Mix-genser. That's the jumper, and I thought it was so kind of lovely in its simplicity, and also what spoke to me was that it's knit on big needles, and yeah, what needles were those? Needles 7 and 8 millimeters, so big spin needles. And the yarn that she was using was not the original yarn, but Alafoslopi by Eastex. And what was so wonderful, that while we were in that shop, gosh, I'm blanking on the name now. The shop owner is a lovely lady from Canada, and my mind is absolutely blank now. I can't think of the name. I'm so sorry if you're watching. Anyway, she had a shipment of Alafoslopi, so she had a lot of colors to choose between, and I ended up choosing this color 1231, which is this really lovely, it's a bit, well, actually it's quite accurate, this lovely kind of foresty green. And I also realized that I had the book at home that this pattern was in, so it was just like a done deal for several reasons. For yeah, it being a quick knit, it being a simple knit, it didn't really acquire a lot of brain power, because I was kind of a little bit burnt out at the time, and I had put a little bit pressure on myself with trying to make all these sweaters and all the things for everybody, and yeah, that just kind of fried my brain. But yeah, I will put up footage of this sweater here, because it is gifted away, and the recipient really loved it and was so happy for it. So when we got to see her the day after Christmas Eve, she was wearing the whole evening, and yeah, I think it turned out really lovely. I can absolutely recommend this pattern. If you want a quick knit, if you want a lovely warm jumper. And Alafoslopi, it's 100% wool. Is it Aran weight or bulky weight? Anyway, I bought, I believe it was 600 grams of this yarn, because the lady that was knitting this jumper, she said that she needed just 5 for her. She's a really like a slim lady. She's not big, and neither are my girls. So I thought, like, it sounds like it probably would be enough with the 500 grams. But because I wanted to be sure that I had enough and not gonna end up playing like yarn chicken just before Christmas and not necessarily having the possibility of traveling back to that shop, I just thought I'll have another skein. So I bought 600 grams, which meant that when I was done with the jumper, I actually had a whole ball plus a little bit more. I think it was like 15 grams from that last ball left. So I had 115 grams left after knitting the jumper. And so I ended up knitting a pair of mittens out of that same yarn. Let me just put away this book. So I have space to... Oh yeah, this pattern I have online. It is a pattern called Thick and Quick Mittens by Simone Van. I found it on Ravelry, but it goes to an external web page. So they're like really simple, straightforward mittens, and there's really no right or left hand, so you can like use it both ways because the thumbs come out on the sides, so you can really use them both ways. So yeah, I was considering doing some embroidery on them, but I haven't, because I have not been inspired to do so, or I haven't had an ideas of what to embroider on them, and they've just kind of sort of stayed as they are. But they are really simple, really nice, really lovely mittens. A nice pattern to follow as far as I can remember. So yeah, if you have one of those like skeins with thick yarn, you don't need a full skein of this. I've been like really bad with making notes this time because I haven't actually written down how much yarn I used. Oh no, I have. I'm right. I'm lying. Jesus. 83 grams I used on this one yarn. So if you have a skein of 100 grams of bulky yarn that you don't know what to make out of, you can easily make a pair of mittens like these. Yeah, just simple mittens. So mittens. So that was the finished object number 2. And then yeah, I made a pair of socks, which I also have gifted, so I will have to put up a picture here. I made a pair of socks to my friend Jenny out of Hobby Christmas sock wool, which is color number 6. Yeah, color number 6. And I used up 52 grams of this, and I also I haven't taken it there. I also had heels that were made out of Arvetta Army Green 100, number 147, color number 147, and that I used only 6 grams out of. So yeah, like when I was done with those socks, I still had quite a lot yarn left of quite a lot of that yarn left, and I wasn't really necessarily planning to make any more socks right there and then, but yeah, I wasn't so inspired. Like all the plans I had for different sweaters and whatever, I needed something very simple, something small. So actually when I traveled to my mother-in-law for Christmas, usually I would take with me several projects. This time I took only a pair of socks, another pair of socks. And that pair is also from the same hobby yarn. But I thought just to change it up a little bit so I wouldn't be knitting 2 pairs that are exactly the same, I ended adding a golden kind of yellow to it. I guess it's nice on this side, but we don't have those. It's not too bad, but yeah, you get a little bit of a, yeah. And yeah, just to prove, I do have 2 socks. So yeah, I added those golden stripes in between all of the other stripes. And also I wanted those stripes to be the same depth or like same amount of rows. So here I actually had to add in a little bit of extra from a different place in the yarn ball to get those 8 rows of the colors that I wanted. And then it's like, yeah, it's eight rows for the colors, the stripes, and then the golden color is 4 stripes. And I keep on doing this slightly modified Patrick's eye heel. I really like that. It gets this like really, I mean, it's more sturdy, but I think it's beautiful and squishy, and yeah, I just like it like a lot. And I still have quite a bit of this yarn left now, so yeah, but that's fine. I'll figure a way of using it up. I got like some bigger nuggets and some smaller nuggets because I've like divided them up a little bit, but yeah, I think they turned out really lovely. Like just breaking up the stripes a little bit. Ooh, that's gone. Okay. So yeah, that was another pair of socks that I made. Then it was quite a long of a hiatus on starting or anything new. And as I mentioned in my last podcast, I wanted to knit a pair of mittens, and I invited you to come along for just like a tiny little quick knit along with stranding knitting. And it was you were allowed to use different patterns than the ones that I wish to knit. And projects also that were started were allowed because I thought it's Christmas time, people have enough to knit on, and yeah, I didn't want to be too strict. I didn't see it to be necessary, kind of. So it took me a while, but once I got started, they knit up really quick. And yeah, this is Julevotten 2016 by Tori Seierstad. And these are mine, and I love them. So yeah, that's the front, and this is the back. I think they're just so clever with you have all the different Merry Christmas in different languages, like Feliz Navidad and Merry Christmas, Frohe Weihnachten. Not so good in French, so I'm not gonna even try. God jul. So yeah, I made a few changes to them because in the pattern they do have this Estonian braid, which I don't remember what it was called. I didn't do it that way. I did something that I believe is called Kihnovitz. So I got this cast on edge, which is like everything second stitch is the other color, so to say. And I think it looks really pretty, very neat and clean. So yeah, and all the nice. And I did, no, was this the keynote? No, no, this is the keynote. Oh, it's the Estonian braid. I'm sorry, my mind isn't computing right now. I will try to put some information on the screen when I'm editing this. But yeah, I also changed up this detail here because it was supposed to be same here and there. And I just like the look of this kind of cast on and this kind of braid here a bit better than what it was in the pattern. And that is the beauty of knitting. You can change things so that you like what you're producing, so that you want to use them. And I absolutely love and adore these. What I must say is that when I started knitting them, the pattern calls for, oh yeah, the yarn that I use is finull, Rauma finull, and the needles we were supposed to knit on according to pattern was 2.5. And what I was hoping for was that when I knitted it, when I knitted them, they would be a little bit too big so that I could felt them. And they were just perfect amount too big so that I could felt them. So this is like a felted finish to them, because they were just about, I don't know, maybe 2 centimeters too big. That's almost a little bit under 2 inches. It's not full 2 inches. No, 2 inches. 1 inch, I meant to say. But yeah, they were just perfect amount too big. They fit me like a glove. They're just perfect. I mean, like those cute details. The Christmas guy and the tree on the other one. Oh, and the hearts. And yeah, and actually one of these mittens, I think is this one. I by some, I don't know, mistake, skipped one of the stitches. So I just did a duplicate stitch. It looks kind of messy, but it's fine. I like them. I'm really happy I made them, that I went through with it, because I've been wanting to make them for many years. Yeah, because yeah, this is 2016 that this pattern came out, and I love them. They're so soft and warm. I have already used them a couple of times and I just love them. Absolutely adore them. I think they're so cute. And I guess with that I could actually do a little bit of a sidestep, because like I said, this was part of my knit along, where I invited you to come along on a stranded knitting adventure. And there were actually a few submissions which I'm so happy for. Thank you so much for participating. I did a random number generator and I pulled the winner of the knit along. And just to remind you, this was the prize that I had to the lucky winner. This is, I think, in my opinion, just gorgeous colors. I mean, I love them. And it's called Red Pepper. It is Highland wool. Yeah, fingering weight. So the winner of this beauty, and the person who's gonna have to send me name and address, yeah, full name and address, is oh my god, project number 3, no, well, post number 3, and the person is called Tesha. So you, Tesha, is gonna have to send me full name and your address, and I will send it to you as soon as I have that. You can contact me either on Instagram or Ravelry. Both are fine. And yeah, I also added in some, not easy to see, stitch markers from Sofakroken, as she did provide me with a couple extra so that I could give them away. And I think you are so worthy of getting these extra. And oh, they were, I can show you better. One of the stitch markers is actually a pair of mittens. Well, I can't really tell, can you? Well, anyway, I think it's cute. So yeah, get in touch with me and I will send it to you as soon as I have your information. Okay, so back to my finished objects. I have another pair of mittens that I've wanted to knit for the longest of time. And they are called Eventyrblomster, and they are also by Tori Seierstad, the same designer as these mittens here, this blanket over here. She has quite a few really lovely designs. She has this wonderful jumper called Next Year Larvik. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but I've seen quite a few people have made that, and it's really, really beautiful. Maybe in the future I might make something like that. But yeah, these mittens are from a book called Eventyrvotter, which is fairy tale mittens. But she actually does have these mittens also on Ravelry, so if you are interested, you can get a hold of them there. And I believe they are also in English. The pattern that she has there, I believe. And these mittens I also knitted out of finull, Rauma finull, so the same as these ones. And I had the same approach there because this pattern as well calls for needles 2.5. But it actually took me quite a while to get started with them because I had this grandiose idea that I wanted all the flowers to be different colors. So I was contemplating, can I make it with intarsia? Can I do it with reverse knitting? Can I do all these things? I was just going through different kind of ideas. But I've just found myself getting like really stuck and not getting anywhere. So I kind of made it a plan. What I decided is that if I'm gonna make this colorful version, I'm probably gonna knit a plain white or plain black or like a one colored mitten and embroider it like a duplicate stitch afterwards. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the idea because then I would be showing the whole pattern. But yeah, like I guess I can show you like mine now. It's like if you see there's like this sort of kind of bell flower here and there, and then maybe something that looks like a rose or something, and then like a cornflower kind of looking flower. And the same goes like for the inside of the mitten, like you have this bell flower there, and then something that might look like a daisy or something. And my idea was like, I would make this maybe like a purple, and these kind of this sort of maybe a yellowish color, roses, maybe something of a red or a pink or something. And cornflower would have been blue because that is Estonian a national flower, and those are blue. I mean, like you have different colors on the cornflowers, but if I remember correctly, like when you look up Estonian national flower, then you get the blue version of it. But I still want it to be a bit more than just like a plain one color. So what I ended up using was the yarn that I got from Gunnis Englestrikk, which is also Rauma finull, but she has dyed it herself, and then she gifted it to me just before Christmas, and I thought it was so pretty. This light is really not doing it justice. It's really, really lovely color. It gets a little bit too yellow actually, but I thought the yarn was so pretty, and I thought that will give me kind of a little bit more interest. What I was looking, not that it needs it, but I wanted it to be a bit more like, yeah, not solid color kind of thing. And I think it's so pretty. I'll just pull it all the way up there. I think it's so pretty. Yeah, those like pop, so like this really bright red into this more muted red, and yeah, I think it turned out really nice. And for the cuffs, I ended up actually buying some more yarn. Not that I don't have green yarn, but I had this vision in my head that I wanted to be sort of like a gradient ish, sort of. So it's different shades of green. Can't really tell those two apart on the screen I see, but they are all different colors of green. And they are all there. Yeah, here you can see the difference so much better. So these are the 5 greens that I've used. So yeah. So yeah, I do love them. I did the same thing as I said, like, you know, I made them a little bit too big and then I felted them. I run them in a short program with a towel in my washing machine on 40 degrees. And I think actually I did it, no, I washed them once and then I did just like the rinse and dry cycle once or twice afterwards, and then they were just perfect. I think they're just so sweet, so beautiful and lovely, and they're so thick and lovely. So yeah, these I feel like I'm gonna save for Easter, like when I go for Easter vacation, then I'll bring those, I think, because you know I can use my Christmas mittens for as long as I want. Nobody's gonna tell me not to do that. But yeah, another pair of mittens finished. Let me see, I'm gonna just put them here. And that book over here. I need to just clear out some space. So, and yeah, I still love my basket. I was looking at it the other day and thinking like how much I love it. So this basket I made a couple episodes ago. So look up the pattern. I don't know where I was going with this. Like, I highly recommend to use your scraps is kind of what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I use both the small and the big one a lot. They are my favorite baskets, definitely. Yeah, the last finished project that is new are a pair of socks. Here they are, just simple plains vanilla. I needed something, yeah, and I needed something simple to knit on the other day, because a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to join for a knit night, and I said yes, of course, I would love to. And I just knew I needed something simple, something kind of brainless, something that would just knit up by itself. So a pair of socks it was, because I didn't have anything. Oh yeah, I had just finished my mittens, so I didn't have anything like small, easy to bring along with me. And even though I have a couple plans for sweaters, I hadn't started anything, hadn't swatched anything, so I was just like, let's make another pair of socks. The yarn that I've used is Ulltøsene in Quartz 69. This is the same yarn I used for my Boxy Light by Joji Locatelli. And I used about 37 grams of this main color. And the yellow is not as neon as it comes off on the screen. It's more It's more of a lemon color, like a lighter yellow, not as bright as it looks on the screen. Yeah, definitely not. It's Arvetta. It's color number 255, and I used about 16 grams of it. And I did the same heel. Like I said, I'm just so smitten with this heel. It gives it a little bit of extra, like, yeah, padding there. It's stronger. I think it's pretty. And I just did tiny tad of striping by the toe. You can just barely tell because there are some flecks of yellow in this yarn, as you see, so it doesn't show like a lot, but I don't mind. I think it just gives a little bit of like interest and makes you go like, what's happening there? Well, that's my my thought anyway. But yeah, you see, like here it almost like disappears into, but I don't mind. I think it's kind of fun when this sort of kind of color play happens, deceiving the eye kind of thing. And these are for me, and I think I did mention last time I do prefer more like of a shorty kind of mid-calf kind of a sock. So yeah. And also I was kind of like, when I was knitting them up, I had knitted about like 20 rows of just plain stockinette stitch, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have some like texture to it. So I ripped it actually back, and I started on blueberry waffle texture, but I didn't like it, so I ripped it back again. I had like done maybe about, what might have been 3-4 repeats, and it's like a 4-row, I think it is a 4-row texture pattern. So yeah, it's been a lot of knitting, like ripping out on this sock. And I did think, like, you know, Hermione's everyday socks, probably that texture probably would have looked really nice, but it was plain vanilla once again. And I'm really happy with the way they turned out. They're gonna be my happy socks, and yeah, I can start using them now that I have shown them. Yeah, I also finished the doll that I was making for my little niece. I can put a video here. I posted it on Instagram a while ago. I redid her hair because I wasn't happy with the way it turned out. I felt it was too puffy, so I had to like remove some rows, and then I ended up like thinking like, nah, I'm gonna do with a thinner yarn. I do understand in a way why the pattern suggests a DK weight yarn, because I guess it probably would get less tangled over time. But I wanted her to be able, like when she gets older, naturally, to be able to braid the doll's hair and not have those bold patches in there. And also I wanted her like hats to fit without like, yeah, having to really pull them on kind of thing. But I think it turned out really, really nice. I didn't do this sort of first aid kit for her with bandages and like those little bandages, and then like spools of repair yarn for different parts of her body and her clothing and whatever there was that I had knit kind of thing. And yeah, I sent it away and it was received very well. Her mother and my brother, they were absolutely gobsmacked about what I had made, and so happy and thankful. So yeah, that was sweet of them to say that. Also my blanket, that's just called plaid, which is the name of the pattern and the Norwegian word for blanket. Last time I showed it to you, I was finished with knitting it. I only had left the vertical lines to be sewn in, and that took a while before I got to the point of actually starting to do that. And I had done a couple of stripes and I just didn't like the way it was turning out. So I actually have cut out those stripes. I have only the horizontal lines as it's been shown before, so I'm not going to be pulling it up again because there's no change to it. It's still the same There's nothing new to it, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I believe I have weighed all of the yarns and the amount I've used and put it up on Ravelry, so if you're interested in knowing how much I used of the different yarns, have a look in there. Or if you're interested in the colors, head over to Ravelry and check it out. Then, works in progress. I still have my shawl Duggfrisk on as a work in progress. I have not finished it. I have forgotten to take it over here. Just a second. Just leaning out of the frame for a moment. Yeah, just to remind you, it is this gorgeous shawl here. It is really lovely. It's knit out of fingering weight and a mohair, thin mohair yarn. I'm using a yarn called Blygeblomer from Ull Design, which is a Norwegian yarn dyer, and then Fortuna Silke Mohair in the colorway Rosenkvarts, so rose quartz. And I thought those colors complemented each other really well. With this light Blygeblomer is kind of like shy flower, so it's kind of like this sort of pale pink, soft pale pink. It's showing off a little bit more yellow, probably because of my ring light there, than it is in real life. It's a really lovely pink, and you can't really tell. Well, you can almost tell. See, there's some like dark spots at places, but it's this beautiful, very soft and lovely silk mohair from, yeah, it's a hand dyed one from the yarn shop called Fortuna, which is based here in Norway. So yeah, like I said, hasn't been done any progress, but I'm gonna be taking it up again and working on it now. It kind of stopped up for me also because I was kind of bound to my PC with this, because my printer was like not working, so I wasn't able to print out the pattern, so I couldn't bring along with me anywhere, and then it kind of stops up. I need, like, I like having projects on paper or book, or you know, something I can take with me anywhere, so I don't have to bring like an iPad or a PC or something like that. So that wasn't anything new, but yeah, so I guess we have come to my last working project that I'm actively working on as of yesterday, so it's a very new project. I feel like I've skipped something. Oh, I hope not. This comes out like this is a disclaimer of a sponsorship, I guess, or ad, or yeah. Sometime either late spring, early summer, or something like that, I took a quick trip to Sweden with my friend. This is not so far from here to like take a day trip over the border and go to Sweden. We had done it a couple times before, and this time we thought like, well, not just do the border shopping, like, you know, buy groceries and stuff like that, but actually go into the town which is close by to where we were shopping. And of course, you know, me with my nose for yarn, I found the one yarn shop that was there, and the weird thing was that all the yarns there were Norwegian. So I was like, do you have only Norwegian yarn? Because like, I'm not going to be buying Norwegian yarn from your Swedish shop. Like, I didn't say it like that, but you know, I was looking for something special since I'm like over the border. And she said like, yeah, well, I do have one yarn here, a yarn brand which is from Estonia, and I was like, Estonia? This is not the skein I purchased at the time, but this is the brand. It's called Villa Sillat, which to me sounded more like Finnish because of the grammar used in that. But yeah, it's 100% wool. It is a sport weight, so it's pretty much the same as the Rauma Finull, which I love, absolutely adore. Anyway, I bought with me a skein from that shop. She didn't have a huge choice of colors in her store. I think she had either 3 or 4 different colors. So when I came home, I had to look up the shop. It's villasillat.ee. And was kind of disappointed to find that they didn't ship to Norway. I think at the time they shipped only to Sweden and a couple other countries. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to be getting any more yarn before I go back home at one point, because it was from my hometown. That's the funny thing. The yarn is from Estonia and from my hometown, or like the address for the shop is in my hometown. Actually not so far away from where I used to live. So fast forward, my mother went to Estonia in autumn, and she's like, okay, let me know what colorways you want and I will make sure to go and pick them up and send them to you, like ship them to you. I was like, wonderful. Sorry, it was from fluff in the air. And so she did so. She got in touch with a guy, and that guy is a lovely, wonderful gentleman. He sent me the yarns that I had asked for, and also put in a couple extra skeins of yarn for me to test and to give a feedback on. And one of those yarns is this sort of rainbow color. I think it's called Victoria, if I'm not wrong. This is one of them. He also sent me, this sort of a heather color. Really, it doesn't come off true like on the screen. It's a much colder color than it shows on the screen. And also a petrol blue that I cannot see now. Sorry, I'm gonna do a little bit of a chair. Yeah, there it is. This beautiful petrol color as well. So I've been trying to crack my head like with ideas of what I want to do, and at the time, even though I love petrol, I think it's a beautiful color and I think it suits me really well, I just didn't have any ideas. I wasn't inspired by it at the time. And I also wanted to use this yarn. I think it's really pretty. And yesterday, it's a long way around to get to what I'm wanting to say. Jesus Christ, sorry. I hope you're still here with me. Is I decided to make a simple top-down round yoke jumper. And I was starting to look to figure out the whole math thing myself, but yesterday my brain wasn't computing, so I did have a look on Ravelry just to see if I could find something there, just to get the numbers, just to get started. And I found a pattern that I thought was really pretty. I actually might, well, I can show you the picture in the book as well, but I'm most probably gonna put in a picture from Ravelry because I don't think this is a good picture. It's too dark, and she has a better picture on Ravelry page. It's called Lövetann Mamma, which is Dandelion Mother, I guess. And it's by Tina Hauglund. She has it on Ravelry. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check if it is also in English, but it's for sure in Norwegian. And I have it in this book, Damestrikk fra Strikkesilla. So yeah, I started on that. I'm sorry, it's a long introduction to like a couple centimeters of knitting. So this is what I did yesterday evening, late. It's like I said, top down. You can see that the color is starting to change from this like darker reddish to a more light red. And I omitted the purple bit because, I mean, even though I think purple is beautiful, I don't tend to go for purple for myself. So I have this ball that I have wound off so that I could get straight to the red. And my plan is to see how far I get, but my plan is to go from this red to this light blue and not go in, well, maybe actually I might kind of, well, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, in my head, I have this vision that I want to go to that light blue and leave the rest of the body to be just this light blue color. So I did this sort of like a trial of like not great sketches. This was done just in like very, very quickly. And I really like this way around it. I mean, it's not 100% representative. I mean, you understand that. But like I just like the look of it, like going into this light blue and being kind of like this happy looking jumper. I like that better than going to red, even though I was first thinking going to red at the bottom. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. Like I went from like I don't know how to utilize this yarn to the best of its kind of like, not ability, but to really showcase it is what I was trying to get at. And I think in this way I will showcase it, like, yeah, like having it these colors just gradually growing out and, like, you know, showing the whole length of the color changes, because the color changes are rather long. So yeah, I made already a couple changes. I did a tubular cast on because I think it's pretty. It's become my go-to cast on for socks. This is the first time I have used it on a sweater. I'm gonna see if I like it or not, because it is quite stretchy. So hopefully not too stretchy, but if it is a little too stretchy, I'll just add a clear elastic in the top stitches or something. It'll be fine. And yeah, I think it's called, the pattern calls for a 2x2 rib. I've just done a simple 1x1 rib. So yeah, I guess this is gonna be my obsession for a little while, because I'm trying to think now. I think these are size 3 needles, and then it's gonna go up to 3.5. Let me see. Yeah, starts off on 3 and then goes to 3.5, but I'll see. I haven't swatched. I'm gonna be as honest as that, because I'm thinking it's top down, and as long, like, I have, like, I know approximately my gauge, and I think it's gonna be fine. I'm just winging it. And I'm also thinking, since oh sorry, I did that again. Also because it's top down, I can like increase more if it's necessary, kind of add on more stitches, so it'll be big enough one way or other. Just tweak it a little bit. I'm gonna move my camera a little bit because I've been foot flirting with it. There, that's better. So yeah, those are my current works in progress. I have several plans of what I want to knit, but I'm gonna share them as I go. I think it's gonna be the best, and I will let you know what I think of this yarn. For now, I really like the feel of it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it washes up and what it's gonna be like after it's washed, how it acts and stuff. Oh yeah, important point about this, since like I am trying to speak about this shop there, is that they have now opened up, I think, more or less to the whole world of shipping. So if you're interested, they have both what they call like effect yarns, which is basically colorful yarns as such. I have this green one as well, and a yellow one. They have so many different options of those, and they also have like a single color option, like I showed you. Like these, they are I think they had several weights, but like you have those 100-gram balls at least, and they're quite reasonably priced, I think. So yeah, if you were wanting to try out something new, then maybe that's something that interests you. And he has a quite substantial choice of colors, so check it out. I feel like I was going somewhere with this. I have received a lot more yarn from him. He sent me another package a little while ago, but I'm not gonna be showing everything because I'm never gonna be done then. Because I also have to talk about my advent calendar that I got from my man. And where have I put that? Oh, there it is. I think most of us girls, mothers, women, not all, but I think a lot of us, from like my experience with people, talking to people, most of us don't get advent calendars, and it's quite a like usual thing here in, oh, I keep on kicking them thing. Oh, sorry. I mean, like my experience is that I make advent calendars to everybody, but I don't get anything. And this year my man kind of made me an advent calendar, and it went something like this. He's like, okay, go check out your stocking, because I've made stockings for everybody, you know, having 2 homes for the kids with mine, yours, kids kind of thingy, so they wouldn't have double amount of calendars both there and there. I thought, like, you know, stockings is nice because then you can just fill them up one here. So he stuffed my stocking. I said, like, go check it out. I'm like, okay. So what he had put in there was this gorgeous color, or like, I mean, mohair yarn is what's trying to say. Silk mohair from a yarn shop here in Oslo. It's called Strikkefeber. Sorry, I'm showing it badly. This color is called Sea, and it's oh beautiful. I mean, like, come on, so beautiful. It is a 50-gram skein, or yeah, hank skein. It's 420 meters, so it's a good length on this one. And then he goes, well, I've got something more for you, and I'm probably gonna forget to give them to you, so you'll just might as well get them all right now. So he came with the rest of the loot that he had gotten that day. So it's silk mohair, again, Strikkefeber, because this is the shop that he went to, Strikkefeber shop. And this one is called Marmalade. It's so gorgeous. I mean, like, I adore this one. It's so beautiful. I mean, I love this one as well, don't get me wrong. I was absolutely like, ooh, blown away by the beauty of it. But this is maybe more typical me, like, when it comes to colors. So I'm gonna have to find some very special projects for both of them, because I think they're beautiful. Both of them so beautiful in each their way. But that wasn't it. I also received another yarn, again, still from that same shop, called Strikkefeber. Let me see if I can get all of these balls of yarn. Yeah, trying to escape. I had one of each of these colors, this sort of pale yellow, it's kind of like a burnt orange, light burnt orange, and this sort of a pale pink. I think it's a DK weight if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a DK weight, 50 grams to 100 meters. And this sort of tealy kind of color. These I got 3 of. So I don't know what I'm gonna be making out of them. I feel I might wanna add another color to this combo to make it work really well. I like these colors especially together, like as a trio. So maybe like, I mean, that could be really beautiful, like paired with a white and make kind of like a Easter sweater maybe. I don't know, I haven't decided it. I think it was just so beautiful of him to actually do something like that, even though he's not like too good at giving like the skeins to me like one in a day. I'm happy with like you thought of me, you gave me something. I'm super happy. So yeah, I kind of smoothly transitions into the acquisitions and stuff from the knitting. But now I think I'm gonna say that was it with yarn acquisitions. Yeah, I'm gonna leave those for another time. I'm gonna have to mention one thing. I participated in a knit along with Fröken K, who is a Norwegian podcaster here on YouTube. She had this hodgepodge kind of thingy knit along where you could knit either Love Note from Tinka Knits, Ranunculus from Hidori something, I can't remember now, or Steven West's marled striped sweaters, was a sweater or something like that. And I needed the Love Note for my stepdaughter, and I won with that. So my prize was to choose one pattern from one of these designers. So what I did was I got I haven't noted that down either, the pattern for the Steven West shawl that I spoke about quite early in my podcasting adventure. I'm just seeing if I have it open here. No, I don't. I'll put pictures and names. So now I can actually start on that shawl, because I do have the yarn. I've had the yarn for a while. I just haven't purchased the pattern yet, but now I really don't have any excuse to not start it. So that is gonna be one of my next projects that's gonna be going on my needles. So thank you so much, Fröken K, for the wonderful gift. I do appreciate it. It's fun to win for a change, because I usually never, it feels like it anyway, I don't tend to win. So it was very surprising to see my name on the screen and actually receive the gift that she so generously then gave to me. So that is it to those. I mean, I have also gotten quite a few new books, so if that is not your jam and you're not either interested in maybe some babbling afterwards, you're excused. You can go have a breather, do your thing. If it is for you, but maybe you're bursting for the toilet, just pause me for a little while and take a break, but you know, carry on later on then, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the first book I'm gonna show you was a Christmas gift from my lovely friend who I actually made the socks for, and it's this one there. I think most of the books are in Norwegian, so I think some of them may be available also in English. I'm not sure, I haven't checked it. This one I have looked at so many times, and I picked it up and put it down and picked it up, because I have a substantial amount of books, knitting books. So do I really need more books? No, but do I want them? Yes. I love them as an inspiration, and like with the dandelion mother sweater, suddenly I have the pattern that's just perfect for the yarn that I have and for the project that I have in mind. So, you know, it works out perfect. So I'm actually thinking about making this very jumper that was on the cover, but I am thinking I have this sort of pretty pink with like a pearly gray color. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna come back to that at one point. That is also something I've been thinking about maybe making later, or like not later but closer to Easter, because you know it seems to have become a thing to knit Easter jumpers here in Norway. I have forgotten to mark, I think it was another, there's a couple other ones that I would like, I really like that, but I mean it's a great book with a lot of great patterns. I will check out and see if it is available also in English, because I could definitely recommend this. There's several beautiful patterns. Maybe post some pictures. I'll see. Like, I'm not gonna go all crazy with the editing, but maybe I will. So yeah, only time can tell. Then when I was to the knit night out at Spinnekroken in Kongsberg, I bought this book. It's Heather Hill by Elene Holme Samsø. That was a book that I had like noted down that I wanted to have, I wanted to own. I don't have any like concrete patterns, I think, from here that I have decided I want to make. I haven't really had a proper look at it since I bought it, because like, you know, life. But I like her designs. They're simple, but there is some interest to them. Like if I would make this one, I probably would omit the color, because that's not really me, but I like the rest of it. So yeah, again, the beauty of knitting or sewing, or you know, whatever, you can change things up so you get them exactly in the way you want. And yeah, again, I might post up some pictures here, like if I have the time to go through the book and like share with you some of the designs, because otherwise when I guess we're gonna be spending a lot of time here. Then I found this book on a huge discount. It's Urban Knits, and this book has, at least for sure, one design in it which I have thought about making, and I know she has it on Ravelry. And then there was a second one I liked in there, and what I decided was that it would be cheaper for me to buy the book with this discount now than to buy those patterns separate. I will definitely put up some pictures here of the designs that I'm talking about, and link them below, because I think they are so beautiful. Because they are, there's like, there's some simplicity, like they're the simple design with some interest to them, and I kind of like that, because they're more, they can stand the like changes of fashion and like whatever is in and not in at the time. I think they're like, I'm lacking the word. I am hoping that you understand what I'm trying to say there. Then when I was looking for inspiration for the use of the yarn that I had received as a like sponsorship kind of thing to test it, to try out the yarn, I stumbled upon a couple patterns that are in this book, which is Strikk til alle anledninger by Helle Sigurd. And the design, I mean, there's several. I love this one. Let me see. I'm gonna have to show it like that so I don't show the pattern. I really like her, what do you call it, a blouse? I think it's, well, it's called the jumper. I think it's so pretty with the details again, you know. It's rather simple, but there's a little bit of interest, which I like. There is also a sweater vest in here. Well, not sweater vest, it's a vest in here, but I'm not gonna take that. This one I thought was really pretty. Would fit perfectly with all the yarn that I have. It's like sport weight kind of thickness to it. I think it's really pretty. But what really stole my heart, I must say, is both in colors and style. It's this one. That is like so me through and through. I think the details are beautiful. I also like those wrist warmers with, I think it's embroidered. Yeah, it's duplicate stitch kind of embroidery on those. And I mean, there's several beautiful designs. I'm just showing you very quickly some of the designs. I think they're just absolutely amazing. I really like her usage of color here, and the pattern I think is really pretty. It's very feminine, very nice. I'm very quickly browsing through everything now, so you don't have to spend a lot of time sitting through all my books. And the last book I got was also heavily discounted now. I guess they're trying to clear out their storage so I can have room for new ones. Is Knitting for Olive, and it is also by, isn't it Lena Holme-Samsø, or am I thinking wrong now? No, it's Knitting for Olive. Come on, Elo. It's in the name, Knitting for Olive. And I really love this design on the cover. I think it's so beautiful. It's very kind of, I guess, 60s or so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's so beautiful. There's several designs in this book as well that I find just absolutely gorgeous and that I wouldn't mind knitting. There are some basic patterns and some more advanced patterns, but yeah, I think there is something for everybody pretty much. So yeah, that was me rushing through all of my books that I have received and bought. Yeah, one of the books I bought just because I had a gift certificate that I wanted to use up, and I mean, it was a perfect excuse to buy a book then, right? Anyhow, if you made it this far, hallelujah, that's well done. I thought I'll just, like, if you still want to hang with me, I'll tell you a little bit about my time since last we spoke. Nothing crazy or big happened. We traveled to Trøndelag, which is like mid Norway kind of, to see my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law with her family, meaning we spent our Christmas over there, so we were there for a couple of days. It's about 6 hours drive or so, 6-7 hours of drive. Usually when it's just the two of us, like me and my man, we get there quite quickly because we don't take too many breaks. So that shortens the traveling time quite a lot. And I will insert some footage from both going there and coming back, because I thought it was some beautiful sunsets, some beautiful scenery along the way. And like driving up there, it's driving through a lot of small places, so it looks quite deserted and empty, but yeah, I think there's quite a few beautiful clips. But yeah, we traveled up there for Christmas, and we could bring our mother-in-law home because she's living in a apartment where she like gets cared for, and get to experience for the second time in my life a Swedish Christmas dinner, which is quite different from what I've grown up with and what I've grown accustomed to while here in Norway. And sweets. If I'm saying anything wrong now, if I remember things incorrectly, don't arrest me. This is I'm just trying to recall everything we had there. But as I've understood, they have like the main warm meat is ham, and also meatballs and small sausages. And there was both like warm food, like warm potatoes, Janssens fristelser or something it's called, I think it is. It's a potato dish, and then you have like yeah, I'm just trying to think what we had. There was so many small dishes, like you have cold dishes, you have warm dishes. There was a platter of cheese and crackers, and yeah, you could you could eat so many different things. There was some salmon dishes, some like devil eggs type of things. So yeah, it was quite a substantial amount of food. So we actually ate so much of like the main course, and it was so much good food there that we actually kind of ended up skipping dessert, which was fine, you know, because what was for dessert, that is something I can do myself kind of as well, and I do myself, and I had eaten myself. But you know, getting to enjoy like a full-blown Swedish Christmas dinner was a privilege. It's something that doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen a lot, for sure. So I'm very grateful to be able to experience that. And also my sister-in-law's husband is Finnish, so there's like some like Finnish traditions as well that seeped into this Swedish Christmas dinner, if I can call it that. I'm not going to that, but anyway, it's like reason why I'm like naming all this. It's just like there's so many different dishes on the table, and like both when looking at Estonian traditions as I'm used to them, and looking at the Norwegian traditions as I'm used to them, they are not as elaborate in amount of dishes. In Estonia, like when I was growing up, my mom used to make like chicken, like a whole baked chicken. Sorry, that was me clapping with the book. She would bake a whole chicken, and she would make like potatoes, and we would always have like these sausages, like regular kind of small sausages, but also something that's very, I think, typical Estonian, which is called blood sausages with some type of corn. Is it barley or something in there? Correct me if I'm wrong. And sauerkraut, and yeah, sauce, potato stuff. Like this is what I remember from my childhood. So coming to Norway, and when I started making Christmas dinners here, and luckily, the kind of Christmas food that I eat kind of goes quite hand in hand with the Christmas food that my partner, we're not married, has grown up with, is quite similar to it, because it's this pork dish that you do, and kind of the side dishes or whatever goes to it are quite similar to what I've grown up with. So I guess the only thing that is more of an Estonian touch to this these Christmas, because I mean I don't have this blood sausages readily available here in Norway, so I don't eat them. I haven't eaten them. I wasn't keen on them when I was smaller either, but it was kind of like taste of Christmas back then. But what I have implemented, oh my god, I almost lost the word. What I've implemented is Estonian sauerkraut, or like sauerkraut, isn't it what it is? Because that is sour. I remember first time I had the Norwegian version, I was shocked over how sweet it was, and for me it was so weird, and it was kind of so wrong, because what I was used to was something totally different, because I was used to it being in a sour taste. And you know, being a foreign here in Norway, I do tend to, or have always looked into the foreign shops that we have, which are started up by other immigrants who bring to this country different types of foods that they can't get a hold of here. Like you have the Asian shops, and you have the Turkish shops, and they have different kinds of foods from different parts of the world. And I found that they had Polish sauerkraut, or is sour cabbage sauerkraut. I'm just saying like the German word for it. And since I found that, I never gone back. I mean, no disrespect to all you Norwegians, but I cannot do the sweet sour cabbage, the white one, that is, because that's a funny thing, because I haven't grown up with the red cabbage, so that one is okay for me to eat, the sweet version that you have here, and I really like that, really enjoy that actually. So yeah, gosh, I've gone on like about this Christmas dinner for ages now, sorry. Anywho, fast forward, when we were coming home, because we were to celebrate New Year's Eve in Oslo, we traveled, me and my man, by ourselves, by car. And we've had trouble with the car before, but not to this degree that we had when we were coming back. First of all, we were a little bit too late leaving our mother-in-law's house, but we knew we just would take the time it took, so that she would have a nice experience going back to the apartment. And we didn't want to stress her, and then make sure like we should like lock down the house and everything. But yeah, on the way back, the car was striking. We would be on the highway, you know, going whatever 90 kilometers per hour or something, and the car would just shut down, as in it would just turn itself, like the motor, the engine would go off mid-driving, still in the motion. And you know, the whole car, the electricity went black, it went dark, because the car just turned itself off. And by this time, when this started happening, we had like come maybe 2 hours along the way, and we were like in one of the like coldest the like parts of like our trip kind of thingy. It's over the mountains, or like, yeah, and it was down to minus 23 degrees or something Celsius at the most, I think. And the car didn't like it, and I think that was one of the reasons why it was striking, because we have experienced it once before when it was so cold that it just didn't want to start, or we get like or like back then we get like a notification of like there's an engine, there's problems with the engines. It would give us like a sign before it would kind of turn off the engine but not turn off all the lights. So this time it would just suddenly go all like turn the whole, I mean the car just turned itself off, and the lights went off, and everything just like went into darkness. And that was a little bit stressful, because we were a little bit unsure if we would make it all the way back to Oslo in that car, or if we would end up stranded somewhere in minus 20 degrees and, you know, wait for help. But yeah, long story short, we did make it home. It did die many times. We were at one point on the highway, and it was just a little bit like uphills, and the max like speed we were able to make was just below 70 kilometers an hour, and this is like 110 kilometers an hour. bit of the road, so lucky there were like 3 lanes, so we could just hold us to the right lane, and it wasn't like hindering anybody too much anyway. But that was a little bit too much excitement for that trip coming home. So yeah, we were both quite exhausted by the time we got home, because we couldn't really lower our shoulders or relax on that trip. So it was everything else than relaxing that trip. And yeah, then it was New Year's Eve. We had the kids here for the dinner. Then they all flew out to different parties with their friends, because they're all like 18 and above. So yeah, and otherwise life has been good, I would say. I mean, I have my good days, I have my not so good days. I can't say I have like bad days, because now that I've had time to really take care of myself and give myself the breaks that I need, the times that I need, I'm having like more better days. It's not like I'm in a great space and like with my fatigueness, but I'm still like hopeful. I'm still thinking it'll hopefully one day go back to normal, whatever normal is. So yeah, hasn't happened a lot of things, but some things have happened. And now there was another knit night here in the beginning of January, I think it was. I didn't go there because of the car situation. Probably have to wait till it's a little bit warmer outside and the car is not gonna die on me midst traveling somewhere. Not taking any chances at all in that regard. But yeah, I mean, what's great is that the days are getting lighter. There's actually still light outside, so some of the light you're seeing here, that is kind of the colder hue of it, that is actually from outside. So that feels so nice. I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the evening, 4 p.m, and it's still light outside, and that lifts the mental health for me, at least, like seeing the sun and enjoying the light. I mean, it's so wonderful. I mean, it does work miracles. And I'm looking forward to Easter. Hopefully we will travel to our cabin in mid-Norway, because there we have a cabin, or like my man has a cabin, and it's lovely to go for ski trips and just restitute and be. And I think we all need that sometimes, just to take time off and just enjoy whatever life has to offer. Yeah. And I had a thought now, but I don't have a plan with that thought. I'm gonna ponder upon it. We are now at the end of January. I have a plan. All I'm gonna say that it can be a good idea to leave a comment, short or long, doesn't matter. And especially like, okay, full disclosure, I have been contemplating back and forth if I should carry on with podcasting or not. I have been leaning a little bit towards maybe not, because I was just tired for a little while there. I had lost my inspiration, motivation, and everything. But I think I'm gonna carry on. I do enjoy this. It does, it does bring something to my life that I enjoy. But what I'm thinking is that when we get to March, which is my birthday month, I am thinking that I will do a random pull out of the comments and gift one or two of you something on my followers as a thank you for watching and for commenting. So yeah, I think I might do that. Just off top of my head, that's something that you put it behind your ear, keep it in your thoughts, that leave a comment here and there. I might just pull a random winner, maybe even before, but definitely I think I'm gonna do that in March, so keep that in mind when we get closer there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna say now. If you're still hanging on with me, I mean, kudos to you. That's well done, because I've been rambling for 1.5 hours. I'm probably not going to be cutting it down too much in time. Thank you for hanging along with me, for being you and for being here. And I hope life is treating you kind. And don't be afraid to reach out and say hello. I will keep on replying to the best of my abilities, say hello, and yeah, thank you for spending time with me. I wish you a lovely end of this month, and hope that the coming month is gonna be lovely as well. And see you soon. Happy knitting. Bye.